as the great Eric Sommer would say, we're off like a toupee in a hurricane here. Live from Carborough, folks. It's the Chris or Ginny Show. Featuring Deej. Hey-o! And starring Shafna Shamsuddin on WCOM. Good evening, friends.
Good evening, enemies and folks that I don't talk to that much.
Let's say hello to the great. You mean folks that listen to this show, but who you don't talk to?
I talk to them. They don't talk to me because they can't. That's how radio works.
Right. Are you referring to the proverbial folks at home?
Yeah, okay. Some of them.
Folks, Deej love. I think I say folks too often on this show.
Yeah, it's sort of I feel like people said folks a long time ago, then it stopped being cool. Yeah. And people started saying it again.
You know another phrase that I hope makes a comeback?
What's that?
I like the cut of your jib.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good phrase.
Is that like a sailing term or?
A jib is the thing on a boat.
Yeah, it's got to be related to that somehow.
I thought it was to do with the jawline, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I don't know. Folks at home.
Yeah.
People, I am so excited about Shafna. She's just an amazing lady. Deej, I haven't met her in person. I could have, but I postponed the meeting because I wanted to meet her live on the air.
Are we certain she exists? Because
she may or may not exist.
Okay. Time will tell.
She could be a figment of our imagination.
All right. So Shafna Shamsuddin, who will probably be here soon.
May or may not be here.
We'll see. Shafna is the owner?
I would say founder.
She's the founder, creator, HBIC.
Yes.
Head businesswoman in charge.
Yes, that's exactly what I knew you meant that when you said.
Yeah, of Ellica Treats, which is a local ice cream and confectionery.
I've had their treats. They are incredible. I can't wait to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
If she A is real and B shows up.
Right.
Folks at home, we're professionals here. So our guest tonight is running a little bit late. She's got a son.
Yeah.
I can relate. I've got a daughter. But we're professionals. I've got DJ Simon's here, for goodness sake.
Right.
So here's what we're going to do.
I'm basically like having a child.
It's basically, so I have 2 children.
Yeah.
And now that I've got egg roll, I've actually got 3 children.
That's true. Wow.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some of the segments that we normally would sprinkle in throughout the show, like announcements and things of that nature. Then I'm going to play a sweet Indian related song.
Okay. Like a raga or?
Is Bollywood, could that be the name of the music or is that just the name of the, like the film?
That's a good question.
I want to call it a Bollywood song, but I do not want to offend.
I'm unqualified to say.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then perhaps by that point, our lovely guest will be here and we'll talk about ice cream.
Yeah. And then it'll just be Shafna start to finish.
Shafna this, Shafna that.
Direct shot to the brain.
Let's hit him with the website early.
Ellica. Ellica Treats. ELAKA Treats.com. EllicaTreats.com. ELAKATREATS.com in your web browser.
I got big news, folks. We are now joined by
Zahin.
Zahin is here.
Oh, there's someone else here. Who is it?
Zahin, and also founder and CEO of
Ellica Treats. Come, Shafna.
And
Zahin.
Thank you for being here. He doesn't have a microphone, but I want to guess what grade this young man's in, Deej. I'm an expert at this. I've got an 11-year-old daughter, so I'm going to guess. 8th grade. No. Kindergarten. You're a freshman in college.
You blew it, dude.
I'm not getting anything right tonight. All right, what grade are you in? But 3rd. Yeah.
All right. They're great.
Has it started yet?
No.
It starts in a couple weeks, probably.
Next week.
Are you ready? Summer's over. No more laying around, playing video games, trying to get serious. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome guys. Shafna, thank you for being here.
Welcome, Shafna.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure. Deej, I first heard about Shafna through someone we admire.
Yes.
This whole town admires.
Yes.
Vimala, of course.
Just everybody's auntie.
Respect.
Yes.
Aunt Vimala. And I believe your treats are served at Vimala's.
Vimala's, yes.
How did that connection first happen?
Through Chapel Hill Farmers Market, actually. I started my business at Farmers Market.
Yeah.
And I was a regular vendor at Chapel Hill Farmers Market, and Vimala shops there. So
You had a booth at
I did. Yeah.
Harborough Farmers Market, at Chapel Hill Farmers
Chapel
Market.
Hill, yeah, on Saturdays. I was, Saturday and Tuesdays, I was regular.
Yeah, no, Vimala talked about the Harborough Farmers Market. Knowing her, she probably hits all the farmers markets.
Yeah. And then I also did, I was a guest vendor at Harborough Farmers Market as well. That was a very brief stint though.
Yeah.
But I was more regular at Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill Farmers Market really did make a huge impact in my business.
Yeah.
It made like a treats, I brought it to a lot of people's awareness really.
Yeah.
When I started at Chapel Hill Farmers Market.
It's all about awareness, isn't it, Shafna?
Yes,
I mean, you can have the best product in the world,
But
you can have, but if nobody knows about it,
There's no point, yeah.
there's no point.
How do you get the word out?
Mostly, like I said, farmers market.
Okay.
Being at the- and no problem getting in the Chapel Hill Farmers Market in the first place. Is that a pretty easy process? Or?
Farmers market aren't actually that easy to
No,
get
there are
into.
other
No.
like ice cream, like Mean Girls that.
Yeah, and they also have, you have to meet codes and regulations and all that stuff. And then the board meets and then they decide.
Sounds boring.
And you live in Greensboro?
I do.
So you're trying to get into the Chapel Hill Farmers Market in the first place, going back and forth, trying to.
Well, I was producing all my products were being made in Hillsboro. And
At the Piedmont Food Processing.
that's where I started at Piedmont Food Processing Center. My whole background was just academics, really.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any, experience being in a commercial kitchen setting at all.
Right.
Like I had no right to be in it, really.
So when you go to Piedmont Food Processing, are they like, okay, who's this lady? How much research did you do just to get to that point?
It took a while. The idea of this business had existed years ago, more than a decade ago, I would say. But I had no idea how to start a business, especially like being someone who just came here as a student. I never thought that I wasn't planning to start a business. But then when this concept came about, I did pursue it a little bit in Greensboro, but I was just meeting dead ends in being able to figure out how to start a business here. And then finally things just started falling into places in 2019. And it started falling into places predominantly because I got connected to a lady who runs a pickle business at Piedmont Food Processing Center.
Lindsay Bisbee.
Yes, yeah.
Pickles are just the great uniter, aren't they?
Yeah. So
Pickles bring us together. Is it coots?
Cukes.
Cukes?
Yeah.
Cucumbers.
That's the ninth name I've butchered on this show.
Well done. We'll try to make it a baker's dozen.
Lindsay Bisbee, Cukes,
So
Pickles.
Lindsay also lives in Greensboro. She's a Greensboro resident.
But she's kicking butt. She's in
she's
a lot of grocery stores.
Yeah, she's in a lot of groceries.
So you connected to her. She's also out of Greensboro?
She's in Greensboro as well. And she connected me to Piedmont Food Processing. So it really started kicking off because I got that I was connected to Piedmont Food Processing. They actually gave me then some instructors, especially the director, Eric. He told me that, you have to register business and things like that. Like that's when things started falling into, I had a structure. I had, some plan and how to really go about setting up this business.
But before this, are you making like delicious ice cream at home just for fun?
I was making 2 flavors. So the idea came because I created plantain ice cream. And before plantain, I was making kulfi, which is a traditional Indian frozen dessert. And I was doing a churned version of it because traditionally kulfi is not churned. So I was doing that at home. And then one day I was out of homesickness. I made plantain ice cream. That's when I knew that I have a thing because it's not a traditional conventional ice cream where plantain itself is actually forms the majority of the base.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you do all your own churning? Do you do your own churning?
No, hand churning. No,
okay.
no.
How do you churn?
So the whole reason why I started making any ice cream, even kulfi, is because I love kitchen equipment. Like, I love going to Williams Sonoma.
Yeah.
I love the way how they display all the kitchen gadgets.
Mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a thing for me. I can just spend hours just looking at the kitchen gadgets.
Everything's so shiny.
Yes. And so I wanted to buy an ice cream maker. I was seeing it on display. Finally, after looking at it for years and years and years, I finally bought one, and that's how then I started making ice cream. Otherwise, there was no connection to ice cream making before that. That was my first time, really.
It was all about the equipment.
Yes. It wasn't for the shiny equipment.
So you didn't really pick ice cream. It just kind of picked you, it sounds like.
I guess, yes. Yeah.
Did you like ice cream a lot as a kid? I mean, I guess most kids like ice cream.
I love ice creim, but I've never been one of those, I love desserts in general, and I want to say that, I like to consume dessert as a treat and in smaller amount, rather than I'm not someone who just sits and eats a whole pint of ice cream.
'Cause your ice creams are delicious. But it's more about savoring the experience versus just crushing a big thing of vanilla.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's the way how I like to have my desserts.
You had a lovely event a few weeks ago. Deej is very upset with me right now, Shafna. You should know, because I thought I invited him. You had an ice cream social a few weeks ago.
You did.
I'm sorry, bud.
Chris, there's cruel, there's sadistic, and there's sending me an email about an ice cream social that happened 3
He
weeks
just
ago.
found out about it today.
I did.
So this was a lovely event, Deej. I just don't want to take too much time to talk about how delicious the ice cream was.
But
it was
fight, Christopher.
Okay. So it was at the plaza where Vimala's is.
Sure.
And there was a nice band playing, like jazz in the background.
Cool.
And there was a henna artist.
Yeah.
And delicious ice cream, complimentary. And let me tell you something, Shafna. The stars aligned for us, because that week my daughter and 4 of her friends went to summer camp at the art center.
Yeah.
That's we love the art center. We talk about them almost every episode. And so this was Friday, the 5 of us walked down and went to the event. Your event. It was perfect timing, because summer camp ends at 3:30.
Yeah.
She's a little bit older than your boy. She's 11.
Yeah.
All of her friends and me, and then we walked down.
I have pictures of her then. Yeah. There was a group of kids that we took pictures.
It was 4 girls, and I almost came up to introduce myself to you, but I wanted to meet you on the air. That's why I didn't come. And you were busy, but what a lovely event.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we put so much effort into it. So
it really was.
I know that people liked it and enjoyed it.
Yeah. And Jenny, my partner on the show, Jenny came, Alan bought a pint of, it really was delicious.
I bet.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good. Next time.
Kana yaari gadari ishq naame garda ishq naame garda ishq naame garda ishqi fakirani piro muridani ishqi waliyani huda khalilani ishq pida ke marcha taftara bani kamalom ganja kasi hasti bizani ishq nur wa tarba misri chammani nabi ishq chuki to kota filani kana yari gadari ishke naame gar ada kana yari gadari ishke naame gar ada ishke naame gar ada ishke naame gar ada kana yari gadari ishke naame gar ada
मिजाज में भी दोस्त गोड़ा दोस्ते जे फायदे रोज वजन दूसरा वह हमेशा निराद दे मन हो तेरा साथ दाते टोक कम ज्यादा मेहरंगा दिला अस्त न बदला मवादे बाय देखे मन का न गेला चुशे रोचा फायदे नी निवाए दा धीरे बत्ती रोका शमु शमल लिखे तके गपा नवती निवा अंचे मर्दम नेस्ते के कासे दे बरोका दोस्त गुशी शंकु इच मगो चुप का गप मगंगार बे गम बे कवार बे दिल गुशी शंकु वार बे का चुप मबे गम मगबार बे दोस्त गुजार मबे हम मनी मुखालिफा अतई बीत दोस्त तेजो शिकारा आना वाला मनी चंबोत दोस्त दर दुश्मन बीत दोस्त वदा मुतमईन को मवत वती दिल
हरचा तो मिजाजे वावा चमनी नचारे वावा वत अत के तो मनी रहा नुअत मनाच भी जारे हमा गरीबी दिली सा तो अमीर तारा मनी जुदाई मा फल्ला खुश बिका तारा जिंदगिया मा पल्ले कब तक गंदगिया तो खलीज तब आबा मन लियारी मन बर्बाद तो शिवा भी वक्साते मा भाई मरीज दा नफ्सियाते ये दुनिया खुशी देश के द्रुप भले दुनिया नहीं इसका करो ये दुनिया जो ले जाती है दुनिया तारा इश्क विवादी दस्ता बदे जानी दस्ता वतियानी दुश्मन बया संगत बस वादा बहारानी मर्दम वतारानी परजा मजानी रंदा मकन तो दिल बर मारा शिगानी का नजारी सदवारी औलिया में प्यारे दा का नजारी सदवारी औलिया में प्यारे दा औलिया में प्यार दा औलिया में प्यार दा कना यारी गदारी इश्क नामे गा
That's a fantastic song, Deej.
I know.
You were raising funds for the Art Center.
Yeah, for Art Center. Like we decided, I mean, this was a brand awareness campaign and I decided that instead of just spending a lot of money on ads and just, you know,
social media.
Yeah, like I want it to go for some good cause, for it to benefit someone else as well. I really admire what Art Center does, really. Like I don't read through a lot of people's newsletters, but Art Centers I really do read through because I always feel like they have some really nice, fascinating community-based initiatives. Really.
They're so good. We love them. My daughter goes to summer camp there every year. We go to performances there on a regular basis. They just had their 50th anniversary.
Wow.
That's impressive. 50. I mean, how many things can you think
older
of?
than you.
Besides me, they're 50 years old. But no, we love the Art Center. So that was just a cool connection. We were coming for the ice cream and then we were like, oh, how great that it's supporting the Art Center and there's a band and
hopefully, you know, we'll be able to contribute in a significant way that will make a difference.
Yeah.
In a sense that will make a difference in a person's life, you know, significantly.
I support everything they do over there. So
yeah, art definitely opens up people's minds.
It does.
Can you tell us a little bit about the name? What is Eloka? What does it mean?
Eloka is cardamom in my mother tongue, which is cool. Malayalam. And Malayalam is from the southernmost part of India state of India called Kerala.
It's also a palindrome.
It's what?
Malayalam is a palindrome.
Yeah.
It is.
There's your fun linguistics fact of the day. I don't know why I knew that, but I did.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so Eloka means cardamom.
What's cardamom?
It's a spice.
Okay.
It's a very aromatic, citrusy spice, but it complements sweetness very, very well. We do use it in savory dishes as well, but it complements sugar so well.
Okay.
It elevates the experience.
What makes ice cream tasty? How do you know what to put in it and what not to put in it?
I think it's the balance of flavor and consistency that really makes us, you know, remember ice cream and it leaves an impression. It's all about how you feel when you have ice cream.
Yes.
Because there's some ice creams, like one of my favorite ice creams is pistachio. Pistachios aren't sweet.
No.
So why does that work? But why wouldn't, you know, like a hamburger meat or something? Like that'd be weird.
But I think it is like with ice cream, like, and reason why people can have also much more quantity of ice cream versus many other dessert is, I think, because of it's that balance that, you know, when we get it right in an ice cream, the balance between flavor and consistency. I think it just takes us to a whole nother world, how we feel emotionally.
Ice cream makes you feel good.
What are some of your unique flavors that you could share?
22 and counting, right?
22
flavors
and counting. Some of my unique, so kulfi is the only flavor I can say that I did not create. I didn't invent kulfi. Kulfi is a flavor that has existed for centuries. Okay. But every other flavor, some of them are inspired by actual, desserts or treats. But, there are some which are just coming from my head, where I'm putting 2-3 experiences together or 2-3 cultural, stories together. So those would be like zucchini orange blossom, which is a nod to my Arabian roots, where I'm born and raised in the Middle East. And zucchini is a big time. It's very popular during summer, especially. And they have Middle Eastern zucchini is a little different, and that's called kusa. And it's very popular in the summer. And so that's why I paired it with orange blossom water as well. Give it that light summer feel.
Very cool.
So delicious. I like this tagline, a novelty take on traditional global treats with a North Carolina twist.
Yes.
I love that.
So you just put some vinegar barbecue sauce in there? No.
I tried to source my produce from North Carolina.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Not barbecue sauce, Deej.
Now your slogan is, we sell stories and smiles?
Yes.
How much do smiles cost?
Smile.
How much?
My smile might cost a little.
Oh, yeah. She has a great smile. I mean, I would pay extra. But,
the smile, I think smiles are something that actually do come for free, right?
I think so, yes.
But it's not that easy to smile.
Yeah.
Especially, my own experience, even though I have this tagline, I'm selling stories and smiles. I have to say that so much of this business, there were no smiles.
Left to smile.
Right.
Especially since I launched my business during COVID. So,
oh, yeah.
That was not a great
Not many smiles in that year, if I remember.
We tried, yeah.
But what made you smile the most in your journey as an ice cream baron?
I think my interactions with my customers.
Okay.
I have to say the way the customers make me feel. I think that's one thing. Now that I don't really participate at farmers markets anymore.
Right.
One thing I miss are my customers. The way they would make me feel, it's just different because there's nothing to compare.
I got to imagine it's mutually beneficial.
Oh yeah, everybody wins.
Because you make people so happy.
Now, does Elka Treats have a physical location or
no?
Where can we get Elka Treats?
Besides Vimla's.
Yeah.
Besides Vimla's, so Graduate Hotel, Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Oh,
nice. They'll be carrying, and Durham Co-op. Where else?
Anywhere in Greensboro?
Yeah, in Greensboro, Hotel Dedham, Taza Bistro, Deep Roots. There's a Hilton, Fairfield one.
Okay.
And,
that's where I usually stay, Fairfield Inn.
And some country clubs.
So you're in approximately number of locations, 20, 30?
Yeah, we're in 17 locations.
Wow, 17 locations. Do you ever see having your own shops, or is the model to be in?
The model was always
restaurants.
Yeah. Even farmers market was not really in my plan.
That's a good way to get started.
But that was me being very naive, doing very little research on how to really start wholesaling ice cream.
Yeah. Do you think that's not you wouldn't, if you had to go back and do it again, you wouldn't start at the farmers market?
No, I would.
Okay.
My point is that I didn't plan to go to farmers market, but that's what happened. And I have to say that that's probably for the best. Cause I don't think I would have done well had I not have had that farmers market experience.
We just had, our last guest owns a cheese shop in Carborough, and he's getting ready to open a cheese and wine bar, really nice place, Stevie Lee Webb. And he started at the farmers market system. It's a good way to kind of get started, get out there, be with the people.
And you learn a lot, actually. No, but you really do learn a lot about your operations, about how to manage and run your business. You learn a lot.
And you got some big accounts you're working on. I want to get into that, but let's give the folks a song first, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's go. Here's Param Sundari.
All right.
रोमियो रोमियो कल के रोमियो भोली शक्ल वाले सारे के सारे परे पियो रोमियो रोमियो भड़के प्रेमियो काहे गले पड़े हो बिन बुलाए बारातियों ले तो गई गले जा संग में हम ले जा ये तो चोरी से है सीना जोरी कभी लगे मोनालिसा कभी कभी लगे नोबिता और कभी जैसे कादम्बरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी सर से पैर तलक बेतहाशा हुस्न से भरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी पैरों में पायल की बेड़ी से बंध के मैं ना रहने वाली मैं अलहड़ पुरवा के जैसी हूँ परदेसों तक बहने वाली मुझे गहनों से बढ़ के सपनों की चाहत है जिन सपनों को सच हो जाने की आदत है कट्टी है मेरी मर्दों से यारी फिल्मों के पर्दों से ले तो गई गलिया संग में हम रिला ये तो चोरी से है सीना जोरी कभी लगे मोनालिसा कभी कभी लगे नोबिता और कभी जैसे कादम्बरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी सर से पैर तलक बेतहाशा हुस्न से भरी हाय मेरी परम 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 सुंदरी ए छूना नहीं छूना छूना नहीं छूना छूना नहीं मुझको ए होना नहीं होना होना नहीं तेरी होना नहीं मुझको हाथ जोड़ चाहे पाँव बड़बड़वा नहीं मुझको
This is going to be a dumb question. Forgive me, Shafna. Is the genre Bollywood, is that related to music or that's movies?
The Bollywood is the industry, and I don't.
But could music fall into that or no?
Yeah, you can. I think Bollywood created a genre that is actually can be technically categorized as Bollywood. You know, like it's not really representative of a particular region in India, really Bollywood. So if you're really looking at Bollywood to learn, you know, about a culture in detail, that's not the point of reference, really.
Right. But the song we just listened to, what would be the category of it?
That's Bollywood music, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Well done.
That was a fun song.
Yeah. Stopped clock is
We
right
talked
twice
about,
a day.
we talked about cardamom.
Yeah.
That is a spice. And is that in every single one? I think you infuse that into every flavor?
All my products, yeah, everything. Even our cookies for my ice cream sandwiches, we have cardamom in it. We incorporate cardamom in everything, yeah.
And so it's all about that spice mixed with the sweetness to
and it's mostly cardamom. Élaca is basically representing the brand, because our brand is about telling cultural stories and talking about the roots of human being and our tracing back our inspiration and the similarities and all that stuff between cultures and people.
Yeah.
And cardamom has similar history as human beings. What food actually tells is actually human history. This is my belief, that food tells our history.
Yeah.
And there is no other way also to connect people more than actually through food.
Right.
And especially desserts. Élaca is basically representing the brand because of that.
Oh, I love it. And we got a question from the audience from our good friend Raj,
who's a
loyal listener to the Chris Jenny show.
Oh, area man. Yes. I know. I know of Raj.
And, well, he is our good friend unless this question doesn't go well. Then he's on. So Shafna, this is for you. This is a 3-parter.
Oh, geez.
Raj, you know the show's only an hour, right?
We're going to have to
bless
come
you,
back.
little bud. Here we go. My 3-part question for Shafna. Cardamom is such a great flavor, but in some South Asian dishes, biting into a cardamom pod can really ruin the meal.
I could see that.
Controversy.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Are there support groups for people who have had a meal ruined by a cardamom pod?
Oh, man.
Well,
What strategies and techniques do you use to avoid this type of tragedy? And what are the best ways to enjoy cardamom responsibly? I didn't make that up. That's a real question.
yes. So we don't use whole cardamom pods.
Yeah, Raj.
That's one way to, avoid that. And we don't also use whole cardamom seeds. Even the cardamom seeds are actually ground.
Oh.
And either they're ground and incorporated into the ice cream mixes, or they are just steamed or cooked in it. And so the flavor is infused in it, and then we discard the cardamom.
Have you ever done that though? Have you ever bitten into a pod like what he's talking about?
Oh yeah, that happens, especially when we're having savory dishes. Like in sweet dishes, we don't really add cardamom whole pod itself, except in some things, but it's very visible that you should know how to avoid it.
You'd like to think so, but this is Raj we're talking about.
Raj is not the bright. I mean, he's bright in some ways.
Yeah, he's book smart, but you know. I don't know that I've ever had cardamom. Can you describe the flavor? Is it in a common dish that some people might have tried? How would you describe it?
If you've had baklavas.
I have.
You've had cardamom.
Okay.
But cardamom, when it's done right, it's not going to be very obvious.
Okay.
Except for those who are, I want to say there's someone who's not very familiar with cardamom at all. They will like it. That will be very obvious to them. Like for me,
hey,
it wasn't a distinguishing flavor for me that I would take notice of it.
Right.
And what I noticed coming to the US is that a lot of my friends were actually noticing the flavor of cardamom because we incorporate that in a lot of our sweet dishes. And I found it weird at first that my friends were noticing that particular flavor, which they were not able to pinpoint what is it from, because they're not familiar with cardamom.
Right.
So for those who are familiar with it, for us, it's just, it's just there in the background, and this is just how it's supposed to taste. Even when I would make things, and if the recipe requires cinnamon, I would actually replace it with cardamom, because I thought it's weird that cinnamon was being added and not cardamom.
Yeah.
Later I realized it's just that in America, people are more used to adding cinnamon.
People just use what they know.
Yeah, rather than cardamom.
Yeah.
So you're in 17 different locations.
Locales.
The business is growing.
Yes.
I think you told me that you are maybe working on a couple of really large accounts. We need news on this show. So, Shafna, do you have any breaking news for the Chris Jenny audience?
I was hoping that I could give you breaking news and confirm it, but we are in talks with definitely a national retailer, but on a regional scale.
In discussions with
Dick's Sporting Goods
retailer.
Oh, we got.
But
that's Whole Foods.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good.
Hold on 1 second, caller. So you're in discussions with Whole Foods Market, Deej.
Yes,
heard of it?
Yeah.
You've heard of Whole Foods Market?
I have. I've enjoyed their buffet on many occasions.
I want to get back to that, but let's see who we got. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air here with Shafna from Ellicottree.
Who's this?
Who do we have?
This is someone who feels it's necessary to defend Raj's heart.
Okay, so you'd prefer to remain clandestine. Go ahead.
You don't want to give your name.
I wouldn't want to be associated with the show either. I get it. We've got Raj's attorney.
This is Raj's attorney on the phone.
So there is an Indian dessert that I love, and I can never remember the name of it. I refer to it with my in-laws as mumbo jumbo. It's that really sweet,
It's gulab jamun.
She said mumbo jumbo.
It's got to be gulab jamun, though.
Yeah, I think it's gulab jamun. It's in sugary syrup.
Will that have cardamom in it, and will that be in your ice cream? Is my question.
If you're referring to gulab jamun, that's actually a flavor that's been in works for a while, trying to figure out how to execute that as an all natural and also still representative of the dessert itself in its original form, without having to compromise in any way with our ingredients or in our execution, and also in flavor.
And I'm sorry, say the name. Gulab Say it.
Gulab jamun.
Gulab jamun. Caller, is that, you think what you're talking about? That sounds more realistic than mumbo jumbo.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was trying to say. And I look forward to tasting it. And I'm excited to try all the desserts and all.
But you've got to get yourself to Vimola's Curry Blossom Cafe for a delicious dinner and then polish it off with some of this fantastic ice cream.
I can't wait.
All right.
Guys.
Raj's attorney, thanks for the call.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Whole Foods Market. Now, 17 stores. I'm sure right now you probably feel like you're going in a million different directions. But if you bring in that Whole Foods account, you're going to be extremely busy. You got to scale up fast.
Yes.
I'm kind of excited to think about that and talk. I mean, I got to assume your head count would triple. Like, have you thought through what it would take to go from
more than that? Our biggest hurdle is actually production space.
Yeah. Is Piedmont Food Processing big enough even?
No, we're not even at Piedmont Food Processing.
Oh, okay. You've outgrown them.
So I moved my production from Piedmont Food Processing to Short Street in Kernersville. Early last year, and that's how then I really got to focus more on building out my wholesale footprint.
How many churns?
Right now, I'm just working off of like the basic commercial grade ice cream maker, which barely does anything much really. Like, it's not even actually the most efficient way for us to make things in our current.
Right.
You know,
okay.
But you're trying to add small accounts now just as you go. Like at this point, how do you add an account now? Just someone hears about you or?
Some were actually through farmers markets, you know, like the managers from co-ops and even restaurants and, hotels and all. They do actually scout farmers markets. And in fact, with Whole Foods Forager is that he was aware of our product even before we had reached out to him because he had staff members who were aware of my product from farmers markets.
Isn't that cool?
Neato.
I love when things start like that and then end up on a store shelf. Shafna, again, I just, cause I love seeing businesses, just organically grow and then burst wide open. But if you get into Whole Foods Market, I mean, that's, I mean, what, 5x revenue, 10x? I mean, you're going to grow tremendously.
It's tremendous.
You're going to need people. You're going to need space. You're going to need capital. You're going to have to do a lot.
It's a lot of capital.
Are you ready?
We're trying to get ready. So part of the reason why I moved my production to Kernersville is because I wasn't able to grow my team also when I was in Hillsborough because the commute itself was killing
that's too much.
Especially with me. Exactly. Yeah. And he was only 3 when I started this business, my son. And so it was very tough. And with COVID, that was even worse.
Zahan, how cool that your mom named the company after you. That was pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, in Zajin.
That was for you, bud. Pretty cool, right?
He knows that I think of him 24/7. So
he knows.
I think in school projects and all, when they ask him, like, what's your mom's favorite thing? He will say him. You're my favorite thing, right?
When I was your age, my parents had a clothing store and I was like you. I had to on the weekend, I had to go drag into the store and I would just be playing in the back room and stuff. And eventually working there. So maybe he'll be one of these days.
Oh yeah, he would love to. He comes to help me.
As a taster, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, when he used to go, he's been with me to a couple of farmers markets and he always wants to be the one who gives out samples.
Well, a cute little kid who wouldn't want to, you know what I mean? Like that's a good strategy. Do you have a kid? Cute kids help business, Deej.
I could say that. Now, do you still like ice cream?
I do.
Do you get sick of it?
You're not afraid you'll get sick of it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I get sick because I don't really eat. So this is probably a bad thing that I don't really taste my ice cream.
Dirty little secret. Ooh.
Well, someone's got to though, right? You probably have a chef or
you have a taster?
Like we should be actually tasting every batch really, but it's only like every now and then, you know, I myself personally taste, but most of my crew member, they taste it. But
okay, so somebody tries.
Yeah, exactly. But I should be like, considering the fact that I'm the one who created these flavors, those I hire wouldn't necessarily know if something went wrong because it's gonna still taste good. It's just that it just doesn't taste exactly what it's supposed to taste.
Mm-hmm. And how big is your team right now today?
Right now, it's all part-time and we are a team of 8 people, but everyone is just part-time. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
do you do bulk orders? If I said I need 10,000 ice cream sandwiches, could you do something like that? Or
maybe not.
We do bulk orders. So we cater weddings, and also it started as actually catering corporate events.
Yeah.
So small corporate events I was doing, and then I did one or two birthdays. But then I think brides are the one who makes the decisions when it comes to dessert and all that stuff.
I could see that.
They were booking me like a year in advance all to do ice creams for their wedding.
That's
so
cool.
that's something that, and those do like, and especially when it's Indian wedding, the bulk order is really bulk. So
those Indian weddings can last for days, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We went to my sister-in-law is of Indian descent. Their wedding was spectacular.
Yeah.
And I got to go to it, and there were a lot of really cool traditions, but some of them last for days, right?
It lasts for days, and it's always big.
So do you have to bring in like a wheelbarrow full of ice cream every day?
No, I only do one day.
Okay.
The last Indian wedding I did, they had 700 guests, so it was 700
ice cream
cups
sandwiches.
of ice creams that we did. Yeah, our freezer was jam packed.
Cool. Very good problem to have. So, have you found that ice cream is innovating in any way? What's the future of ice cream?
I think what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay.
Which is giving it an all natural, spin and trying
Good
to
ingredients.
execute that flavor. Yeah.
And less about bulk and more about quality, right?
Yeah. I think it's about, making ice creams that are more representative of other cultures and other non-representative flavors.
I think Shafna
there's
is
a
the future.
mainstream idea of many cultures. It's not representative of the regional cultures within an area. So, like, I think that's happens even here in North Carolina. Like, I don't think I knew that their Surrey County has this peach sonker is a thing over there.
Yeah. So what's the difference between ice cream and similar concepts like custard and frozen yogurt and sorbet and sherbet?
Sherbet is what actually sorbet is really, but
same thing.
Most of the differences are actually technical, and that's actually defined also by USDA and FDA and all. What each product would fall under.
Okay.
Ice cream has a specific definition versus what a gelato would be versus what a custard would be. It's a little more science-based than we think. And therefore, I'm not really ice cream. My products are not really ice cream. My products are frozen dessert.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it was treats in the name and not ice cream.
Yeah. Now you have some non-dairy options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are those like?
My non-dairy options have sorbets.
Sorbet.
Yeah.
And that's more of like an icy fruit based.
The fruit juice base. That's pineapple. I also do black tea one.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And the black tea, like with sorbets, it's just a matter of getting that ratio correct of sugar to liquid.
Okay.
And
to cardamom.
Get that, to cardamom.
It's all about the cardamom. So, WCOM, who do we have?
Hello, Christopher. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I'm sorry in advance.
Tucklebucket here.
Welcome, Tuckles.
Tucklebucket, it is good to hear from you, but I'm telling you, I want you on your best behavior. I've got a lovely guest here and her 7-year-old son. So, good to hear from you, Tucklebucket. This guy's crazy.
My friend, Tucklebucket is a gentleman.
He is.
I'm a gentleman of the world.
He is a gentleman.
Always behaving appropriately.
Can you hear okay? Tucklebucket, welcome to the show. You're on with Shafna, the CEO and founder of
Elica Treats.
Yes.
Delightful. It is my greatest pleasure to enjoy this discussion. And I must say, I admire your adventurousness and the entrepreneurial spirit in which you engage in this endeavor. My hat is off to you. And
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
This feels like a setup, but please go ahead, Tuckles.
No, my friend Christopher. It is genuine. Tucklebucket has been involved with many a commercial venture, and most have failed, I'm sorry to say. It's not easy. Perhaps this is a question that we can put to the guest.
Okay.
What is necessary for a business to thrive in this environment where all consumers, whether it's food or whether it's other consumables, Everyone is faced with multiple choices.
That is a good question.
So many options with which to vote with our dollar, so to speak.
Yeah.
How is it that you capture the attention of the customer that you're trying to reach?
I think it's about being very genuine with what you're doing. Like, if you really have a genuine idea and concept and you really follow through it, you have to have a plan. Definitely have a plan.
Yeah.
And I think that initial stage when you're really trying to establish yourself, and create a market for your product, I think that's where your hard work really actually pays off in that, being able to set yourself apart. But yeah, it is tough. You need to have a really good product that you're putting out there, something that's unique or something that's different, something that sets you apart. And then it's all about how much work you put into it genuinely, really.
There's a lot of good ice cream out there, but I can't sit here and say there's another brand that is similar to what I had at that event a couple weeks ago, at the event that Deej didn't show up for some reason. So you do have a unique product.
Yeah.
And I think you're growing smart.
Yeah.
That's important too.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, everything is very planned and I am very strategic. Even with getting into Chapel Hill Farmers Market, that was a strategic move, but it did take me by surprise. I really didn't think that my product was going to do as well as it did at the market. And
how cool is that?
Yeah, that was my first time that having to scale up my production and being scared to go to a farmer's market because I was like, I wasn't sure that I can scale up enough to meet the demand.
Right. That's better than the opposite.
Yeah, I mean,
I might not sell any ice cream today,
When you're producing everything by yourself, commuting all the way here and you're not sure about anything yet, it breaks you down completely. Like, those are the moments that a lot of entrepreneurs can decide to quit, because it becomes very tough to be able to execute.
Now, Tucklebucket, we assume you're banned from most hotels, but you're probably allowed at Vimala's Curry Blossom Cafe, so that's where I'd recommend you go try this ice cream.
Yes.
I would enjoy that very much. I have been a patron of that restaurant many times in the past. I think it's about time for me to visit again, but Tucklebucket has been busy cooking at home for Mrs. Tucklebucket this week. But I was disappointed. She went out with her friends the other night, and I had made her a delicious dinner, and I said, my love, I respect you're with your friends, but if you're not home in 15 minutes, I'm giving your dinner to the dog. Within 5 minutes, she appeared at home and she said, I don't want anything to happen to that dog.
No.
With Tucklebucket, you buy the ticket, you take the ride.
Indeed. My friend, I'm taking a load of petroleum distillate to the Prussian consulate in Siam tonight. I must be off. I simply wish to bid your guest much success.
Thank you so much.
I will inevitably find my way to some of this ice cream. She won't know it because Tucklebucket moves in the shadows.
He does.
But I will inevitably enjoy it, and I wish her much success in the future.
Hey, congrats on being taken off the FBI's 10 Most Wanted.
Yeah, that was good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Noble Deej.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
It's a big day.
I appreciate the acknowledgement. I bid you all good night and Godspeed.
Good night, my friend.
Thank you, and I hope to meet you in person one day.
Oh,
no, she doesn't.
Be careful what you ask
Be
for.
careful what you wish for.
Oh, my goodness. Tucklebucket, we appreciate the call.
Yes.
You survived. Congratulations. There's another ice cream brand that started really small, focuses on high quality, and is now, have you ever heard of Jenny's ice cream?
Yeah.
That started
Ohio-based, right?
It started in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I lived there, and she had
I
a
lived
shop.
there too.
We both lived there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She had a shop in Clintonville, which is 2 blocks away from my first house. And I used to go to her shop. And then all of a sudden it was 10 shops in Ohio. Then all of a sudden it was, and now it's, I don't know if it's a household name, but it's a huge brand now.
Yeah. They branched out and they decided to scale by opening up,
their own shops. But,
logistics of distributing ice cream is extremely
because you got to keep it cold.
Complicated. Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't melt. Shipping cold stuff is 1,000 times more difficult and expensive than shipping room temperature stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And with the ice cream, it's so volatile because even if it starts to thaw a little, then already the the ice crystals have already restructured when it freezes again.
We've had ice cream shipped to our house, and it's like you think it's like a bomb or something. It's in like it's like 6 inches thick styrofoam, and then dry iced smoking,
making weird noises.
So that's another aspect that actually sets us apart. Like we are a very eco-conscious and eco-driven brand. These are probably the places where we are more innovative.
Yes.
Even more than the flavors, because we ship actually through very minimal waste. We don't really use styrofoam.
But how do you do that and then keep it frozen?
That's where all my thermodynamics knowledge comes into.
Look at that.
Very nice.
My college and my high school physics is coming into play.
Because that's got to be one of the biggest, like for Jenny's, I bet that's one of their biggest costs.
Yeah,
is shipping frozen stuff.
Expensive. Yeah, exactly. When I was predominantly being a housewife, I took up some quilting classes. I became aware of things that I was never aware of.
Yeah.
And about the fabrics and things that they were using, and how there's actually so much science behind that itself. There's so much science behind textile.
Mm-hmm.
That fascinated me. Like, everybody just thinks of fashion. When they think of textile, they just think of fashion. They don't really think about all the, the science that went behind it in order to be able to make the fabric. Like, just imagine, like, if fabrics were made the way how it was made a long time ago, then most of us would barely be able to afford or be clothed,
Yeah.
When this business came about, like, it's your education that really comes into play. Like, those are your survival kit.
Yeah.
Everything you just start applying.
Folks, you heard it here first. There's Jenny's, and I know you're following a different path, but I think Shafna is going to be on that realm in a couple years.
I think so.
And her first interview was right here at the Chris or Jenny show featuring Deej.
We're a little part of history.
So we take credit. And so we want 10%.
I'm more than happy to give you guys credit. I hope this comes true.
You're going to be interviewed by Terry Gross on NPR. I want you to reference this. No, I'm just joking.
I will. No, I will.
No,
we tell stories. So you guys are definitely part of my story.
Oh, very nice.
You're fantastic. I'm so glad you're here. 2 really quick news items. So Mama Dip's closing officially, finally, after years of discussion about that. Mama Dip's famous legendary restaurant on Rosemary Street.
It's like at least 60 years old.
Many. Mama Dip's no longer with us. I think her family's been running it, but I think they've just kind of had enough, and they're finally moving on and closing this weekend, I believe.
Wow.
So if you want one last chicken and waffles, get in there tomorrow, folks. And then one other quick one. We had a big talk about passing of the torch. We also had a retirement. Anson Dorrance, legendary coach of the UNC women's soccer team.
One-time
We've
guest.
had him on this show.
Yeah.
22 national championships. The only coach UNC women's soccer has ever had. In my opinion, probably the most important man in women's soccer.
Sure.
Is Anson Dorrance, retired just this week.
Wow.
Aww.
So 2 big passing of the guard things.
Just as Ellica Treats is taking off.
Ellica Treats is growing. Anson Dorrance retired. Mama Dips.
A window closes, a door opens.
That's right.
Change it.
Well, hit the website.
EllicaTreats.com.
Yeah, I wish I could say that ellicatrees.com is the best, but I'm trying my best to keep my website updated. But please do visit that or follow us on Instagram.
What's the Instagram?
Ellica Treats.
Ellica Treats.
ELAKA.
ELAKA.
Ellica Treats. Find them everywhere. We can sample Ellica Treats in person at Vimla's Curry Blossom Cafe.
Locally.
Yeah.
Locally. What were some other local
There's a
places?
hotel in Durham. We have a lot of Durham listeners. So what was that?
Durham Co-op.
The Durham Co-op.
Yeah, just walk into any hotel and ask for Ellica, and you're good.
We hope to grow our footprint, locally.
Well, now that you've been on this show, you're going to get a lot. That website's going to get a lot of traffic after this show.
If you need 10,000 ice cream sandwiches, EllicaTreats.com.
Yes.
It's been lovely. Please do come back and whenever you want.
And you've made it big. Come back in your limousine. And
thank you, Raj, for the call. Thank you, Tucklebucket.
it's actually Rage.
DJ Simons, any final thoughts from you, sir?
Eat a lot of ice cream. Just go eat all the ice cream that you can find.
Especially cardamom infused.
Particularly cardamom infused.
It really is delicious, folks. We only have the best on this show. And so, Shafna, the final word is yours.
Like DJ was saying, have more ice cream, cardamom infused one. It's good for you. Cardamom is actually considered to be good for digestion.
Yeah, 0 calories. Yeah.
Let's cardamom is 0 calories, but everything else is not.
Well, don't worry about everything else. Yeah, just hide that on the label elsewhere. Let's just call it a superfood.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a superfood. Who's going to challenge us?
Please follow us on Instagram, check out our website, and please visit our retailers. And a lot of our retailers are local businesses who would also, equally benefit from the support.
Yeah, support Vemela's. Yeah. She is a pioneer and brings wonderful people like this to our attention. So
they are our platforms.
Yeah. If you want good things to happen in your town, you gotta go out and support them.
Dedicate one to the ladies. Summertime sip, babe, need something to keep you cool. Now summertime sip, babe, need something to keep you cool. Better look out now, though, Dave's got something for you. Tell you what it is. I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. Oh my, I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. See, now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on a second, baby. I gotta put my banana in Dixie cups. All flavors and push-ups too. I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. See, now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on one more. Well, I'm usually passing by just about 11 o'clock. I never stop, I'm usually passing by just around 11 o'clock. And if you let me cool you one time, you'll be my regular stop. All right, boys, I'm putting my banana Dixie cups. All flavors and push-ups too. I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. See, now all my flavors guaranteed to satisfy. Yes, I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. They say all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Oh, one time. Stop me when I'm passing by. I'm the ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. They say all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. One time, boys. I'm your ice cream man. I'm your ice cream man. All my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy.